Let's get straight about what just happened. This isn't some minor slowdown in the supply chain. This is a complete freeze. China, a buyer expected to take nearly a quarter of the world's new aircraft in the next 20 years, has basically hit pause on every Boeing order. And why does that sting so badly? Because in aviation, the order book is everything. It isn't just a list of future deals. It's what lets a company plan production, invest in new tech, and keep suppliers running. The real damage isn't just the revenue Boeing won't see today. It's the long-term message this sends. It tells airlines from Jakarta to Johannesburg that choosing Boeing now carries a new geopolitical risk. Beijing's decision didn't just dent Boeing's finances, it hit its global reputation right where it hurts. Now, you might be wondering, can't Boeing just take the hit and move on? Absolutely not. And the reason exposes a major weakness. While China was making up its mind, Boeing's defense division was frozen by a huge strike, stopping work on key projects. That's a textbook sign of deep organizational and leadership problems. And for China, the timing couldn't have been better. By striking at a company already in trouble, they squeezed the impact of their retaliation. They exposed the soft spots in America's industrial backbone. And the lesson for any country watching is huge. In modern power struggles, you don't need equal strength. You just need to find the right weak spot. Boeing's internal issues made it an easy target. So what set all of this in motion? It goes back to Washington, slapping tariffs of up to 145% on major Chinese industrial goods. On paper, this sounds logical. Make foreign products more expensive. Protect American businesses. It's the kind of policy that looks tough. But here's where the logic breaks down. In a globally connected economy, these tariffs don't act like a shield. They bounce back. When you make it extremely costly for a country like China to sell to you, they don't give up. They innovate. They diversify. They build their own supply chains, boost their own companies, and find new buyers around the world. So that 145% tariff wasn't a knockout blow. It was a wake-up call, one that sped up China's push for independence in critical industries. Instead of protecting American companies, the tariffs are now helping shape the rise of long-term competitors. China's answer to the tariffs wasn't small, it was strategic. They didn't get stuck in a simple tax-for-tax battle. They started reshaping the entire playing field, one where the US dollar and American corporations aren't the center anymore. That's the real punch in their response. China began redirecting massive parts of its economy, billion-dollar deals for aircraft tech and energy. Deals that would normally go to US companies started flowing toward BRICS partners like Russia, Brazil, India, and South Africa. They're building a parallel trade and investment network. This isn't just pushback. It's a complete redesign of global trade routes. The goal is simple: build an economic system strong enough that US tariffs don't matter. And for America, that's a much bigger threat than a basic tariff war. So who steps in now that Boeing is pushed out? Meet COMAC and the C919. For years, people in the West laughed off COMAC as a government-backed side project that would never compete. But that mindset is outdated. The C919 is a modern single-aisle jet, built to go head-to-head with Boeing's 737 and Airbus's A320. And thanks to the trade war and Boeing freeze, COMAC now has something priceless: a massive protected home market. Chinese airlines need thousands of new jets, and they're being encouraged to buy local. That gives COMAC a guaranteed stream of orders that helps it scale production, sharpen its tech, and cut costs. It's the perfect formula for creating a global powerhouse. Use your own market as the launch platform. COMAC isn't just building a plane, it's building the entire ecosystem around it. And the current US-China tensions are helping it grow faster than anyone saw coming. And in this high-stakes rivalry, a quiet winner is emerging. But this story isn't just about China and COMAC. That's only one piece. What's really happening is the rise of BRICS as a powerful, self-sustaining economic bloc. This is no longer just political talk. It's turning into a real economic system. Think of BRICS as forming a new exclusive global trade club. Inside this club, they follow their own rules. Russia, India, Saudi Arabia, Brazil. They provide raw materials, markets, and investment. And now there's a push for more trade in local currencies, bypassing the US dollar entirely. In aviation, that changes everything. An airline in Indonesia or Ethiopia can get financing from a BRICS development bank to buy COMAC jets, paid for in yuan or another local currency. This gives COMAC a long, stable runway. It doesn't have to beat Boeing on American soil. It just has to dominate this huge new market forming beyond Western influence. So, is America's tough trade strategy working? The results say the opposite. The plan was to protect U.S. strength. Instead, it's driving major global economies to unite and build a system where the U.S. has far less control. This is the real gamble. For decades, American power came from a world economy built on the dollar and U.S. tech. But by using tariffs as its main weapon, the U.S. showed that this system can be used against other countries. And naturally, they're building an alternative. The real cost isn't the extra revenue from tariffs. It's the gradual loss of U.S. economic leadership. America is teaching its rivals an important lesson. The only way to avoid U.S. economic pressure is to stop relying on America. And that idea is reshaping global power right now. What's happening to Boeing doesn't stay with Boeing. This isn't just one company's problem. It's a preview of what could happen to other major U.S. industries: semiconductors, EVs, pharmaceuticals, sectors where the U.S. has traditionally dominated. The same forces are at play: geopolitical conflict, trade weapons, and fast-rising competitors abroad. And the consequences wouldn't just be business losses. They could weaken America's long-term industrial strength and economic security. So where does this leave us? We're moving away from the era of one unified global economy. The dream of a fully connected world is fading. Instead, we're seeing a split. Two major economic systems forming side by side. On one side, the U.S. and its longtime partners. On the other, a tightly connected BRICS alliance led by China, building its own independent system for trade, finance, and technology. This isn't a traditional Cold War, but it is a massive economic separation. For companies, that means navigating two sets of rules. For countries, it means picking a side, or trying to balance both. And for everyday people, this could affect everything from stability to the price of goods. The Boeing situation is the clearest sign yet that this new world isn't coming someday. It's already here. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the U.S. can adapt fast enough? Or are we witnessing a long-term power shift? And that wraps up today's deep dive. The Boeing freeze isn't just a headline. It's a glimpse into how fast the global balance is changing right in front of us. If you want more breakdowns like this, global trends, strategy, geopolitics, and the real stories behind the news, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, and it lets me keep bringing you content that cuts through the noise.